The Associated Press is releasing some new information on the Swiftair 737-400 crash that crashed last November 25th in Vilnius, Lithuania, that might go a long way to explain why this aircraft experienced a sudden drop below the glide slope while on final approach to land. And from this angle, we'll see the aircraft already in the sharp descent, falling below glide slope, and then a rapid pull-up on behalf of the crew right there in an effort to avoid impacting the ground. There were 4 crew members on board the aircraft. 1 pilot passed away. And on our 1 December update, we talked about the condition of these leading edge slats appearing to be in the retracted position when the aircraft crashed. And again, from our 1 December update, here's the drawing showing the slats, leading edge slats, in the different positions. And remember, the leading edge slats begin to extend as soon as you select flaps 1. My name's Juan Brown. You're watching the BLANCOLIRIO channel. It is Thursday, the 27th of March, and sometimes in the course of accident investigation, the most simplest explanation may very well likely be the cause. This accident is also a reminder that the presumption of innocence before proven guilty is not always the case when you're involved in an accident overseas. In this case, the Prosecutor General's office there in Lithuania said in a statement that investigators determined that the hydraulic systems responsible for deploying the plane's flaps were disabled, likely causing the crash. Let's check it out. Remember, the accident did occur in freezing or icing conditions aloft, and as the aircraft approached the airport, the temperature was just 1 degree Celsius, which would necessitate the use of engine anti-ice as the aircraft was coming through the clouds on their approach into land. But once they come into land, if the temperature is above freezing, then they can select the engine anti-ice off. And if we look at the overhead panel of the 737, this is the aircraft involved in the accident was a Dash 400. This is kind of a generic overhead panel for the 737. The engine anti-ice switches are located right here, left and right engines, or engine number 1 and engine number 2, engine anti-ice off. So this is in the overhead panel, overhead the pilot's head. But right below these 2 switches is hydraulic pumps A and B. Hydraulic pumps B switches for electrical and engine, the electrical pump and the engine-driven hydraulic pump for the B system hydraulics off of the number 2 engine are located right parallel to the engine anti-ice switches. So what the prosecutor is saying is that it looks to him at this point, based on the investigation at this point, that the pilots reached up and turned off hydraulic pumps B, both the electric and engine-driven hydraulic pumps, instead of the engine anti-ice switches located right here. And remember, on the 737, System B is the hydraulic system that powers the trailing edge flaps and leading edge slats. Now, I've never had the opportunity to try this, and we don't exactly try this in the simulator, but if you go and turn off hydraulic system B while you're configuring for landing, will the slats and flaps just eventually retract? I think that's exactly what's going to happen. And if you're on approach, fully configured, with the flaps extended for landing, and then the flaps subsequently retract while flying at your reference approach speed for a fully configured landing, the aircraft is going to sink below glide path and eventually stall. All of this should be easily corroborated by the flight recorder data and the position of the switches, if they are found to be in good enough condition, of the hydraulic system in the wreckage. But the presumption of innocence until proven guilty is not always the case when traveling around the world through these different countries and different jurisdictions. And now Lithuanian authorities have asked Spanish authorities to serve a notice of suspicion to the pilot, who is receiving medical care in Spain, and investigators can take a deeper look into the circumstances of the crash. And authorities are looking into possible charges, including negligent action leading to death, destruction of property, inadequate maintenance on the aircraft, and serious physical harm caused by their illegal behavior, prosecutors said. And prosecutors said there were 16 people that have been identified as victims of the incident without specifying, and other reports are indicating that nobody on the ground was injured in this crash. Hopefully soon we'll get some hard data from the investigation that'll corroborate what the prosecutor general from Lithuania is accusing the pilots of. Thank you so much for your support of this channel, especially those folks over on Patreon that make this content possible. See you here.